This week, a new champion enters the King's Court at Eldora Speedway. T-Mac returns to the top with the World of Outlaws Late Model Series. Only the end of the Summer Nationals Hell Tour could stop Shannon Babb's dominance. And Brett the Jet gets win number 796 at Drummond. This and more next on 4 Wide Weekly.
Tyler Walker wins the King's Royal in the final quarter.
The World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series was in Lima, Ohio last Wednesday night for the Brad Doty Classic. And what a race it was, with Sam Hafertepe Jr. pulling out into the early race lead, but it was 3 wide for second right away on the first lap, with the Brownsburg Bullet Joey Saldana getting the advantage on the outside of turn 4. But as the race wore on, Donnie Schatz proved to be the favorite, here making a crossover move on the inside of turn number 4 to pass Hafertepe for the runner-up spot. Eventually, Schatz in the STP number 15 would chase down race leader Brad Sweet in the 49, pulling to the inside one more time out of turn number 2 to take the race lead. Schatz would then pull away in the closing stages to score his 3rd World of Outlaws win of the 2011 season. With the win, Schatz would temporarily take over the series point lead. Hafertepe hung on for second ahead of Brad Sweet, Dale Blaney, and Paul McMahon. Friday night, the Outlaws moved to Eldora Speedway for the night before the King's Royal, and it was Jason Myers and the Steel City Outlaw Tim Schaefer starting up there on row number 1. Myers and Schaefer swapped the lead a few different times, but eventually Schaefer would take the top spot for good on lap number 23. Myers would do all he could to try and chase down the driver from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, but Schaefer was too strong, picking up his first series win of the season ahead of Myers, McMahon, Joey Saldana, and Steve Kinzer. The very next night at Eldora, it was the big one, the $50,000 to win King's Royal, with Sammy Swindell and Tyler Walker starting up on row number 1. But take a look further back. Look at Tony Stewart and Craig Delansky going 4 wide down the back straightaway, passing Chad Kemenaugh and Darren Pittman. Delansky would finish 6th, Stewart in 10th. Unfortunate for your defending King's Royal champion Steve Kinzer, he ran into issues early on but would come back to the event. Lap number 12, Brad Sweet pulls an inside move in turn number 1, makes contact with Edlins Jr. Joey Saldana with nowhere to go, careens into the 2L of Lynch. Saldana was transported to the hospital where Sunday he had 2 plates and 25 screws inserted into his broken right forearm. Saldana is expected to remain hospitalized through the middle of this week. When the race got back underway, Paul McMahon and Donnie Schatz began to show their strength as McMahon moves to the inside of Cody Dara here in corner number 1 for position number 3. The next lap, Schatz would also pull to the low side of the number 91 machine into corner number 1 to take over position number 4. Tire wear would prove to be critical as Lucas Wolf blows a left rear tire. Sammy Swindell did all he could to try and take care of that tire in the closing laps as he sped away from Tyler Walker on the final lap of the race.
Off of the green flag, makes his way down the backstretch, shots to the inside of McMahon, racing for 3rd. Checkered flag will wave, call him King Sammy the 20. No! Sammy Swindell shreds the right rear tire, and Tyler Walker wins the King's Royal! Tyler Walker wins the King's Royal in the final quarter!
For the 2nd year in a row, Swindell loses a crown jewel sprint car event with a flat tire in the waning stages, handing the win to a very happy Tyler Walker, who had the opportunity to be crowned in victory lane by the one and only Earl Baltus. Swindell hung on in the runner-up spot ahead of Paul McMahon, Donnie Schatz, and Brad Sweet in the King's Royal top 5. Kyle Luters caught up with King Tyler the 28th.
I've had it happen to me multiple times. Think you got the race won. Last lap to go, tire goes. I've been in his shoes. It sucks. It's not fun. But the shoe's on the other foot for me this time, so I'll take it anyway and get it. Usually I'm the one blowing the tires a couple laps to go, so I really tried to just be patient and be smart and really was half throttled trying to save those tires, and it paid off for us.
Last night, the Outlaws moved to Lernerville Speedway for the Silver Cup Twin 30s, and it was Dale Blaney picking up the win in Twin number 1 over Tim Schaefer, Craig Delansky, Danny Lasowski, and Jason Myers. Twin number 2 would go to the Steel City Outlaw Tim Schaefer, his 2nd series win of the season over Kinzer, Myers, McMahon, and Greg Hodnett. Schaefer was the overall Silver Cup champion for the 2nd time in his career. Myers holds the series lead over Schatz, Kinzer, Delansky, and a recovering Joey Saldana, who will be receiving 75 medical exemption points while he recovers. The greatest show on dirt is next in action this Friday and Saturday at Williams Grove, followed up Sunday in West Lebanon, New York at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. We'll be back with more next, right here on 4 Wide Weekly.
You wanted the best. They're coming for a breast. It's the World of Outlaws. Witness the King Steve Kinzer, new champ Jason Myers, the Bullet Joey Sultana, Red Hot Donnie Schatz, and all of sprint car racing superstars. Don't miss your chance to experience the greatest show on dirt.
There is no event bigger, harder, or longer than the Ironman 55. The Outlaws Ultimate Test. 55 laps crowning sprint car racing's Ironman. Money-saving advance tickets are on sale now at worldofoutlaws.com. The Ironman 55. One night only. Saturday, August 6th. I-55 Raceway. Heavely. Welcome back to this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly. The World of Outlaws Late Model Series was back in action last Wednesday night with the 32nd annual Napa Auto Parts Go for 50 at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota. And World of Outlaws Series leader Rick Eckert and Clint Smith started on the front row, but the Rocket Man, Josh Richards, he was getting antsy on lap number 1, threads the needle out of corner number 4 to lead the first lap of the race. Most say you can't win the race on the first lap, but Richards seemingly did so. But on this restart, Brian Berghofer gets the chance he needs to work past Eckert to move into the runner-up spot out of corner number 2. Berghofer would press Richards throughout the race, trying to work the bottom side of the speedway, but Richards and that Rocket number 1 machine ran very well on the top side of the speedway, especially out of corner number 4, to run away to his 3rd World of Outlaws win of the season and first ever at Deer Creek.
You know, this is one of the coolest racetracks we come to. It's one of the coolest tracks I've been to ever. And they always do a great job here at the facility, you know, just treating us like gold and working on the track all the time. And it's really a fun place to race at. And it was cool to finally get one here.
Berghofer ran a great race in second ahead of Timmy McCready, Chad Simpson, and Jimmy Mars. Friday night, the Outlaws continued their journey west to River City Speedway in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And it was Jimmy Mars and World of Outlaws rookie Ron Davies starting from up there in row number 1. Mars would get the early advantage, but Davies, looking really good on the outside of the speedway, takes the lead and leads that lap before caution would fly on the speedway. As a result, Davies would restart at the front of the field with hot shoes, Mars and Richards nipping at his heels coming out of corner number 2. Davies must have felt the pressure, tries to set it on the cushion, goes out of the speedway in corner number 3, losing the race lead, handing it back over to Mars. But T-Mac Timmy McCready was on a mission. He had not won a World of Outlaws race in over a year. Here he finds the cushion out of corner number 2. They don't call him topside Timmy for nothing. And McCready takes the lead out of corner number 4. On the final lap, Hubbard and Mars try to reel in McCready as lap traffic got very hectic in the final circuits, but Timmy McCready, the driver out of Watertown, New York, cruises on to victory, his first of the 2011 season and first in over a year. T-Mac very happy in victory lane as he stepped aside to talk to series announcer Rick Eschelman.
Man, I'm whipped. I'll tell you what, I can't do this like I did when I was early 30s, that's for sure. I didn't think prepping the track was going to help, but it made it a cushion, and I don't know, man, we got lucky. I think I just found it. Fuller showed me it was there early, and I found it before most of them could. Take my hat off to Craig and Barry, Vic, Matt and Al, everybody on our shop that works hard.
Jimmy Mars came back on for second ahead of Austin Hubbard, Darrell Lanigan, and Rick Eckert. Last night, the Outlaws moved to Gillette Thunder Speedway with Shane Clanton grabbing his first win in over a year over Lanigan, McCready, Richards, and Chubb Frank. In the series standings, Eckert continues to lead the way over Richards, McCready, Lanigan, and Austin Hubbard. The Outlaws next in action Tuesday, July 26th at Dog Hollow Speedway, followed the next night at McKean County Raceway in East Smethport, Pennsylvania. Ryan Unziker and Jeep Van Wormer bring the field down for the second to last round of the Summer Nationals Hell Tour at Attica Raceway Park on Friday night, and Van Wormer pulled out to the early race lead in car number 55, looking for his first Summer Nationals win of the season. But look here, before long, the 18 of Shannon Babb works to the inside of the speedway, looking for the race lead out of corner number 2. Babb going for his 5th consecutive series win and 8th of the year. Van Wormer and Babb, they've had a history all season long, each holding no quarter here down the back straightaway, as Babb looking to retake that race lead on the outside out of corner number 4. Babb would do so across the stripe, and from that point on, he went on untouched for his 5th consecutive Summer Nationals win of the season. Van Wormer finished second ahead of Unzicker, Jack Sullivan, and John Henry. The very next night, the 22nd and final round of the DIRTcar Summer Nationals from Oakshade Raceway. A month long of racing coming to an end on Saturday night with the number 99 of Donnie Moran going away from the pole. Moran would lead the early portion of the event, but nobody could stop Shannon Babb in this last quarter of the Summer Nationals, as here he is once again in car number 18, working to the outside of the speedway and taking the race lead out of corner number 4. As Babb once again began to pull away in the race lead, Jeep Van Wormer pulls to the inside of Moran, trying to reel in Babb and pick up that elusive first win of the Summer Nationals. But nobody would reel in the 18 on this day, as Shannon Babb rolls out of corner number 4 to pick up the win, his 6th in a row and 9th on the series. Van Wormer hung on for that runner-up finish ahead of Dennis Erb, Donnie Moran, and John Henry in the top 5. Babb, a 3-time Summer Nationals champion, grabbing the championship over Scott James, Dennis Erb, Ryan Unzicker, and Jack Sullivan in the championship top 5. We'll be back with more next, right here on 4 Wide Weekly.
Rated E for everyone.
Welcome back to this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly. Our 4 Wide Weekly submission comes in this week from Autodrome Granby, featuring the safety clean Mr. DIRTcar 358 Modifieds. Look at Cale Robidoux in the orange and yellow 46, making the 3-wide move down the back straightaway to pull into position number 2. Later on, Robidoux would chase down race leader Alan Therrien in the 39 as he moves to the inside out of corner number 4 to take the race lead. Robidoux in the 46 would roll on with ease out of corner number 4 to pick up the win on Friday night at Autodrome Granby. David Hebert came on for second ahead of Therrien, Martin Waugh in 4th, and Frederick Gamache in the top 5. Robidoux currently leads the track standings over Francois Bernier and Alain Boisvert. After another week of 358 competition across the region, David Hebert leads the DIRTcar standings over Pete Bicknell and Chad Brockman. The Super DIRTcar Series was also in action this week with a Monday night show at Autodrome Drummond, and it was Brett Hearn picking up his 796th career modified win after Danny Johnson blew an engine on the final lap of the event. Billy Decker came home second ahead of Larry White. Johnson hung on for 4th. Justin Hare's in the top 5. The following evening at Autodrome Granby, Super Matt Shepard was at it again in dominating fashion, picking up his 2nd Super Dirt Series win of the year. Danny Johnson came home second ahead of Brett Hearn, Martin Waugh, and Billy Decker. The series is next in action Monday, August 1st at Merrittville Speedway, followed by the annual Mr. Dirt Track USA at Lebanon Valley Speedway. This week's 4Wide.TV Power Ranking sees Shannon Babb at the top of the list for the 2nd week in a row, ahead of fellow late model competitor Timmy McCready, who moves into the runner-up spot. Paul McMahon is 3rd in the standings for this week, ahead of Danny Johnson, Billy Decker, Josh Richards, Brett Hearn, Rick Eckert, Tyler Walker, and Mike Harrison, the top 10. Be sure to tune in the next week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly as the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars head to Williams Grove in Lebanon Valley. And we also bring you highlights from the Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup, as well as the Super DIRTcar Series from Autodrome Granby.